Leaky gut is not the answer to every single GI complaint out there. If you have chronic GI complaints such as diarrhea, constipation, inflammation, gas, bloating, stomach pain, etc., leaky gut is not absolutely the reason why it is happening in your case or in every single case. Does leaky gut happen? Yes. But is it a requirement to have GI symptoms or complaints or disease? No. And we'll show you why today with a research study from Nature Reviews Immunology from 2010. I'm Dr. John Bartemus, and I'm putting the pieces together to help you live a life at optimal. So here we are looking at figure 3 of the study. And this is showing that up here is the intestinal lumen, or the space in the GI tract. So up here is the outside of your body still, because there's, as you see, bacteria in here or maybe food in here that you've eaten, but it hasn't entered the body yet until it passes through the gut lining here into the body. So we have the lumen, which is the outside. We have a single cell layer barrier protecting us from the outside. And then on the other side of that barrier is the lamina propria, which is where up to 80% of your immune system lives, or where the highest amount of lymphoid tissue in the body is. Think about it. Why would there be so much immunology going on right here? Well, because you have one layer of cells protecting you from the outside world. So it's not terribly hard to bust through one layer of cells. So if something gets through, we then have the immune system there waiting and ready to respond. So when we think about leaky gut, many people are, let me clean this up a little bit for us. When you talk about leaky gut, it would be either a break in the cell, so cells have been broken and things get through that way, or maybe there's a leakiness to the gap junctions between cells here, so things get in that way. Those are the two ways that if intestinal permeability, aka leaky gut, is present, those are the two ways things are getting through this barrier. Through the cell due to cellular damage, or through the gap junctions. Now, I started the video by saying you could have leaky gut without, or you could have, immune activation and GI symptoms without having leaky gut. Well, how does that happen? What I want you to pay attention to here is this guy right here. This is called a dendritic cell. And dendritic cells are parts of our immune system that are performing surveillance. They're looking for bad guys. They're basically looking for bad guys or anything that isn't self or anything that could threaten self. And if you notice, this dendritic cell is right up snug against that one cell barrier that's protecting us from the outside. And it's reaching up one of its arms here like a periscope on a submarine going up above the water's surface. It's reaching its arm up there, and it's sampling different things in the lumen or different things in the outside world. It's sampling that bacteria. Or if there's, some food out here, it might sample that food and say, hey, what's going on out there? And once it samples it, it'll take it into itself, and then it heads down to the mesenteric lymph node, or the lymph node in the gut, and it presents it to other cells, and it says, hey, should we kill this or should we tolerate it? If it responds in a way that causes immune activation, or say a response to it, then that can result in, say, food sensitivities or food allergies or gut inflammation, and maybe result in diarrhea and constipation and symptoms associated with that. So this is the science behind immune activation in the GI tract, and this is the science showing that you do not have to have intestinal permeability or quote-unquote leaky gut to have GI symptomatology, and you do not have to have GI symptomatology for this immune activation to be occurring. So that's mind-blowing in a couple ways. One, leaky gut is not the answer to all of your problems, or is not the reason for all of your problems or all your GI complaints. Two, you can have GI immune activation and have no GI complaints whatsoever, but that GI immune activation could be a big factor in your global physiology and in your overall case. And since you're not complaining of it, your conventional doctor probably isn't looking there or thinking of that, and that may be the missing link to your case. So I hope this turned on some light bulbs for you today. If you're looking at learning more about this or want to be evaluated for this, and it's not tied to your complaint, then it's probably not going to happen with your conventional medical doctor. So working with a functional medicine clinician that is thinking of the whole you and your global physiology and how it's all interconnected is going to be the way that you're going to assess this area and optimize your health.